years, Mark has built an organization that has seen students come through who not only on campus are changing minds, but go on to dedicate their lives to fighting abortion. I hope that's something that AHA, Free the States, and Creative People we can all applaud and say is very good.
Well, it depends on what you call, well, how each of us individually defines, quote, fighting abortion. Because if you're not seeking to criminalize it, you're not actually really fighting it. All you're doing is you're trying to convince women not to murder their babies, but you're still leaving the option of abortion on the table. See, there's a problem with that.
I think there's a problem with that thinking. God has many ways of restraining evil. God restrains evil by spreading the gospel.
Through the law.
As people are converted to the gospel.
But you're not even doing that.
Can I please finish?
Sure.
As God converts people to the gospel, they are converted, the Spirit convicts them, they don't choose evil anymore. God also uses the law in America to restrain evil. God also uses public education efforts. We are not the political group. We're not pastors. We are one arm of a large movement to restrain evil. We are doing education today. There's nothing political about this. We believe abortion should be against the law, but all I'm doing today is trying to talk to people one-on-one so that while abortion is legal, they wouldn't choose it. They see how ugly it is. They hear all of the good reasoning, the science, the philosophy, knowing that they're fully human, fully persons, and that individual person will not choose abortion. So you and I can chat all day long later, afterward, not today, after the outreach about what the right political strategy is, but today we are uniting with anyone who opposes abortion to move people to a place of also opposing abortion. We're not here to fight or debate with anyone, AHA, Free the States. We are here to unite. And that's all I'm asking you to do, unite with us on fighting abortion today in conversation.
I absolutely am doing that, but I'm taking it a step further because I'm filling the gap that you're leaving open. You act like doing politics is a bad thing, or somehow it's going to divert people from the message you're trying to get across, when that is like, that should be the coup de grace. Once you've converted somebody to say, yeah, you know what, I see your point, this is life, we should, now the next step is let's protect that life.
Do you want to go have a seat on the bench? We can keep talking.
We
over
need
there.
to protect that life.
Let's just go have a seat.
Well, let's talk with Mark.
I can't just summon him. I'll see if I can find him later today, but let's go have a seat.
Wait, he's sitting right over here, right?
I know I saw him this morning. I don't know where he is now, but I will try to call him.
Is he over there? I thought he was.
No, I don't see him. Let's go have a seat. We'll have over this park bench over here.
Can you call Mark? Because I would like to talk to both of you.
Summon him. I'll tell him you requested to talk with him today.
Well, okay, this is what I'm talking about. He's the CEO, right? Is he too important to talk to me?
I'm vice president.
And what does that mean if you're vice president?
It means that I have been here with him since the beginning to help him guide his organization.
And you're getting a salary with the company?
No, so it's not a salary. So I
you don't get paid?
As an individual,
Do you get paid? Do you get a salary, an income?
I feel like you're being a little combative in the way you're talking to me.
Well,
can I respond?
Because I want to establish like the point I'm making. So
yeah, that's fair. Okay, what's your point? Sorry, maybe I missed it.
Well, my point is that there is a degree of a conflict of interest, because when you are seeking to build, like you're dependent on your income, then there's no motivation to actually criminalize it. You can say you want to criminalize it all you want, but if you're not putting action to your words, it's just empty words. So until you're actually putting something forward that substantiates your words, then they're just empty words.
So what I want to do is see abortion illegal throughout the entire country. That's why I'm excited to have dialogue with anyone about what they think the best mechanism is for that. Personally, I find that the efforts of public education, of moving the public, is where I can invest myself full time. I'm not a politician. I certainly support what I find to be effective means politically, but my entire goal, my life's ambition right now is to see abortion made illegal. Okay.
Well, just so you know, yesterday when I was here, and maybe you've observed this before, there's a group, and they're out here again today, that are representing Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Okay, now I interacted with them for a little bit, or at least I should say I was listening in on their conversations with other people that walk by. They are actively seeking political action.
Yeah, you're right, they are.
Okay,
right.
So you're not combating that. You're not coming up against that, and that's why they're winning, so to speak, because the pro-life establishment is not combating that. They're not coming up against that evil. They're saying, no, we don't want to get political, but they are. And they're making sure, they're asking people, are you registered to vote? And they've got the registration form ready for them. Oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. So they get them all registered to vote. How are they going to vote? So you say you ultimately want to criminalize it, but you're allowing the other side to get the upper hand because you don't want to be political.
I understand if you think that our strategy is not effective.
I'm not saying, okay.
That's okay, I understand.
I'm not saying it's not effective. What I'm saying is it's not complete.
Okay.
Is that you're leaving an open gap for someone to come in and say, you know what? And actually, in a sense, it's making it worse because you're convincing people that, yes, that's a human life, but it's okay to murder that human life because that human life isn't really that significant.
So you think we say that to people?
By not telling people or asking them, do you believe it should be criminalized? And then saying that that's what you desire is ultimately to see it criminalized, then you're leaving that option open for everybody's moral opinion to say, is it wrong or right to actually murder a baby? Because the law is what educates. The law educates. God didn't just tell the words to Moses and then Moses spoke the law. He wrote them down. The laws were written down, and there's a reason for that. God told Jeremiah when he was writing Lamentations, he told him to write it down. The scribes, their specific duty was write it down. I mean, and that's what we're supposed to do in our legislature, write it down. You agree, you vote on it, you agree on it, and then the president, or not the president, the governor of each state is the one, he signs it, but then he has the law enforcement behind him to enforce the law.
Okay.
And that is what people need to get that connection.
I get the connection, I do. Again, I see that God has many mechanisms for restraining evil, and I can't play them all. I could play one part of them, but I do appreciate you sharing that with me. I really do, because I want to learn. I want to understand your position. We may have disagreements on minor things. I'm so glad that you and I can commit to today on campus, moving people, at least Creative Equals event here today is to move people to oppose abortion. Not sure what your goals. I guess I'm understanding your goals a bit more. And it's a free open space. You can do your thing, and we can all, one day I hope, celebrate when abortion is illegal. We can say, whether we disagreed about the right strategy, we can celebrate saying it is done. And most importantly, I hope we can all look and say, were we faithful to God? That's between us and God to determine. Us to read the word and really make sure we're reading it correctly and know how we're doing things. Work out our salvation, make sure we're putting our faith in Christ and not in ourselves. It's up to each of us. I hope we can one day celebrate.
Well, that brings up another question I've had. Why is it that your organization, you don't train people to actually share the gospel with people when you're out?
Where did you get that idea?
Because I've listened to some of the conversations yesterday, and people would ask them, are you about religion? Is this about religion? And they would say no.
Oh, because we believe that sharing the gospel is not just saying it's religious. It's about actually communicating what Jesus did. They all here, we trained them before they got here on how to communicate the gospel.
Well,
it's part of our training.
Well, what is the gospel?
What is the gospel?
Yeah, well, how do you train them?
I think you probably know it's my great privilege to tell anyone. The gospel is such good news because when people see abortion, you know what I know, they see the reality of pain. That pain points to pain is evidence of there being something wrong. And what is wrong? Wrong means nothing if there's no moral lawgiver who's above us. If we decide moral law, then it's just human subjectivity. It's not really wrong. It's just it doesn't feel good. It's like a preference. So abortion is wrong because there's a moral lawgiver who is God. Now, if there's right and wrong and God exists, that's very, very, that could be good news or even neutral news. But it really is bad news because not only is that sign one wrong, we've all committed wrong. And though we've all committed wrong, there's one hope for salvation for the woman who's had 15 abortions, the woman who's had none abortions. We've all sinned against the same God. We're all forgiven. That is the truth of the gospel. That you can be forgiven if you place faith in Jesus, right?
Yeah, if you pray for His forgiveness, that you've admitted your transgressions against Him. But I'm just wondering, are you really communicating that to others?
Yes, I am.
That they need.
I am. If you want to stand by me, listen to me today, you're welcome to. I share the gospel, although I'm mainly on security today. But
I mean, as far as that they understand, but I didn't hear nothing about Jesus' blood sacrifice.
Placing faith in Jesus is what He did, His finished work on the cross. It's again my great privilege to tell you or anyone that faith in Jesus is not merely faith in some vague God. It is faith in the God-man, who is Jesus, who died on the cross. That's the gospel.
Okay.
It was so good to talk
But
to you
no,
today.
but it seems to me that you don't understand why it was his blood that was necessary, and what was the significance of the cross. It sounds like you don't know that.
I'm getting the sense from this conversation that you want to challenge my understanding.
Because I do, because I think it is critical that we are talking about the same gospel. I really think that's important.
Yes. And my gospel is the gospel of Jesus Christ. I really am glad you're here today. My name was Seth, as I told you.
But I want to share with you, you need to know that it's part of God's economy, that when you go back to Genesis, when Adam and Eve sinned, he promised them a covering, that ultimately they would have, the Messiah would come.
Amen.
Because only through the Messiah blood sacrifice could their sins be forgiven. It wasn't just about hanging on a cross, it was about the sacrificial lamb, the shedding of blood is what was necessary for the forgiveness of sin.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that in your gospel message. And that's critical to understanding the real gospel, because they did animal blood sacrifices. The whole temple, all of that was established. The priesthood was all under the old blood covenant, was for the purpose of doing the blood sacrifices. And there was a promise that Messiah would come, and they didn't know it at the time, but it was after he came that they understood he had to be the perfect lamb.
Yeah, right. No, he is, right. I agree. Yeah,
but see, I didn't.
You didn't listen to my whole presentation.
I did, but what I just explained to you is left out of your message, and that is so critical to distinguishing. Are we really talking about the same Jesus? Are we really talking about the same gospel? Because you have to mention the blood sacrifice. It's a blood. It's not just about hanging on a cross.
No, I understand that, but my point is that when we communicate the gospel, our effort is to make the gospel understood to people. It's not just the certain words you say. Do they understand their relationship to God and their only hope of forgiveness? I was giving you a
It's through the blood
summary.
sacrifice. That's
Thank you.
Yes, I'm
thank you for sharing
serious.
this. But again, my point is just to unite today, not only in our mission, but also in the truth of the gospel. So I'm glad you stopped by and glad you shared your views. So,
But,
what was your name? I didn't catch your name.
Diana.
Diana
Klein.
Klein. Diana
Yes,
Klein. Are
K-L-I-N.
you with AHA or Free the States?
No, I'm an independent abolitionist, and I
Okay.
wish more people would make that distinction.
Sure.
There are individual organizations that are abolitionist organizations.
And also individuals, yeah.
But yes, most of us are completely independent abolitionists, and you guys need to understand that and stop, because there's a lot of slander going out there that, oh, anybody who's an abolitionist, stay away from them. That is rhetoric that is damaging if you really want to end abortion.
I wouldn't tell anyone to stay away from you or any abolitionist.
Because I know that was fired for going to an abolitionist conference.
Okay, that's false. It's confidential information between an employee. I can't.
But I've already heard from the direct parties on this, so I know what I know is correct information. And all I'm saying is, I don't need to get into any real specifics with you. I'm just saying, you need to rethink this. You need to think what you're doing.
I can't do the conversation about private employee discussion.
I'm just requesting you to rethink what you've done, what your organization is doing, has done, and is doing. You need to stop pitting us against each other and stop doing it.
I can't continue the conversation about a private
I'm just letting you know.
discussion.
I'm just letting you know.
It's nice to meet you, Diana.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, otherwise, good. Campus has been good this week as always. USF's a good school.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you? What's your name?
Diana.
Diana, hi, Mark Harrington.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
I've seen a lot of your videos, and I follow you guys on Facebook, so yeah. So
Oh, well,
I just want to, it's actually, you guys being out here is good. It saves me the extra work of bringing out my signs. So get a chance to talk to people about the reality of what abortion does to a baby in the womb. So, but yeah, I was wanting to know from yourself is, will you actively seek to criminalize abortion?
I really don't want to get into the conversation with you, especially if your GoPro's on.
And the reason? I mean, because I've been videotaped by other guys.
I don't know you. I know people that have been affiliated with the AHA over the years. Would you mind turning off? Because I'm not going to speak to you. I can just tell you that right now.
Oh, you had something on the tip of your tongue to say there
Yeah,
about
I
AHA.
said I'm not going to speak to an AHA person unless their GoPro's off.
But why is that?
Because I know how it's been used in the past. I'm done speaking to you unless your camera's off.
Well,
Okay?
Well,
Thank you.
I think it's important.
Shut it off.
I think it's
and I'll
important
speak
that
to
we
you.
talk.
Listen.
Because
I'm happy to
I'm
speak
willing
to
to
you,
talk on the
but
record.
I'm not going to be recorded, okay?
Oh, no, I got an idea.
This is
bring
look,
over.
I don't have one
Bring
on.
over your video guy.
I don't
No,
have
well, bring
one
over
on.
your video guy who does have one on, and so
Listen,
we
ma'am,
can talk.
Thank you for coming.
No, I'm sorry,
Thank
Mark.
you very much for
Mark,
coming.
I
Thank
would,
you for coming
Mark,
and
this is
supporting
really
our
necessary.
work. Thank you
Your
for
guy
coming,
right over
but
here has a
ma'am,
GoPro running.
Listen,
He
I
can
respect
bring your
you
video
very
guy
much,
over here,
but I'm not
and
going
he
to
can
speak to you with
videotape
the
our
GoPro
conversation.
on.
So
Thank
then
you very
know
much.
that I can't.
And hello, everybody.
I cannot manipulate
out there.
anything.
Thank you very much. We love you all.
His
Please
video
support
guy is
us
right
on
over there.
college
He could,
campuses. We want to end abortion just like
he could
everyone
talk
else.
to me
Thank
right
you,
now,
ma'am.
but he doesn't
If
want to
you
be on
turn off
record
the
talking
camera,
to
I'd be
another
happy to speak
abolitionist,
to
an
you
independent
as long
abolitionist.
as you'd like, but not right now.
But Mark doesn't want to talk to an independent abolitionist when he's got a video guy right here that videotapes
Listen,
all
ma'am,
of their efforts.
I don't have a camera on. I'm not recording you.
But I
I'm
would
asking
request.
you respectfully.
I would
respectfully turn off the camera, and I'd be more than happy to speak to you. The only reason I think you have the camera on is for your purposes to put on Facebook, and I prefer you not do that. And I have the right to ask you not to.
Well, I would like for both of us to go on record.
I also have the prerogative to not speak to you.
Oh, obviously,
if I don't
yes.
want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy to speak to you if you turn off the camera. So,
But
thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thanks
But
for
I would love
supporting us.
to have your video camera guy come over and record the whole conversation because I think it needs to be on record.
Okay, well, I don't think so, and I'm
I
glad
do.
you're here, and I thank you for supporting our work. If you'd be happy to interchange with our students and others around here, feel free to do it. But for right now, if you have the camera on, I'm not going to speak to you, and I prefer you not follow me around either. Thank you.
So there you have it. They do not want to be on record. So what's going on with that? Here's their video guy. He records everything that they want recorded. And he wouldn't call his ally over to record the conversation. I'd say something's going on. Something is not right.